Tips with Tony. Tips with Tony. All about nutrition from your favorite dietitian. Everything you need to digest in your mind. Tips with Tony. Tips with Tony. Making you healthier one bite at a time. With Tony. Woo.
Hello and welcome to the Tips with Tony podcast. I'm Tony Marinucci, your registered dietitian, helping you get healthy one bite at a time. In a few minutes, you're going to hear a little bit from our recent graduate of the 6 Months of Food Freedom program, Erin, who talks about her journey learning how to go from someone who felt very out of control around food to a more mindful eater. So she really goes into the detail in working with one of our dietitians on the team, Christina, and she really had a great transformation mentally and physically. And I definitely wanted to share that with you because I think you would probably resonate with someone with her in any way. She's very busy. She's a working mom of 5. Age ranges from like 5 to 15 or so. I'm not even sure of all their ages, but she definitely has her hands full. And if she can be a more mindful eater and kind of slow down in the quickness and fast pace of life, then I think that you will learn that you too can be a mindful eater. So that's to come in a few minutes. But before I share that with you, I wanted to officially announce that we are hosting a 14-day free mindful eating challenge. This is going to be an opportunity for you to go from mindless to mindful in healing your relationship with food. But beyond that, you will probably notice that as you choose to be more of a mindful eater, you also have a better sense of self. You probably will feel more grounded, more clear, more energized, more focused. And to help, I'm actually partnering with Magic Mind. So if you're not familiar with Magic Mind, it is a very, very, very delicious matcha beverage, matcha drink. It's these like little shots of matcha that also contain adaptogens and nootropics and like different flavors and nutrients like vitamin D. And all of these different ingredients are designed to help you relax, give you energy, stay focused, and make you happy. And I've been having it for the past few days, and I actually love it. By itself, matcha, if you've never had matcha before, it's a very distinct flavor, very distinct taste. So by itself, not the biggest fan, but with some milk, oh my God, like a matcha latte, it's saving me money because I usually would go buy them at Starbucks. And this is a way, way cheaper and also more nutrient dense way of having a matcha latte. So don't worry, we're not going to be encouraging you to give up your morning coffee. I love coffee. But my idea behind having you incorporate Magic Mind more consistently would be to help you see that sometimes we don't need more caffeine. So think about that second cup or in the afternoon around 2-3 p.m. when you go for that cup and then it affects your sleep. Sometimes we just need a little boost of nutrition, and maybe we do need a little bit of caffeine, a very, very little bit that's in the matcha, which is the green tea, but not so much that's going to affect our quality of sleep and our mood and energy and really disrupt a lot of other pathways, right? So I really, really believe in the Magic Mind product, and they have this awesome 14-day challenge of 14 days of magic where they really encourage people to just be the best versions of themselves, drink their drink, because not just because they obviously want you to drink their drink because of the nutritional benefits, but because every single beverage purchase, actually, you're basically donating 10% of that to the Amazon rainforest, and that's really, really important that you're helping the restoration of the Amazon rainforest, which affects so much of the air that we breathe and the water that we drink, and it really affects just about everything on the planet that we live in. So I'm not partnering up with Magic Mind just because I think you should drink the drink and it's absolutely amazing, but I'm partnering with them because I do believe that in order to be a more mindful eater, sometimes we need to chill out a little bit and be a little bit less stressed out. So in the 14-day mindful eating challenge, you will be getting a series of emails. You'll get an email every single day with a tip or trick or piece of advice to help you to be a more mindful eater. And one of those tips, foreshadowing, giving you a hint already, is to manage your stress. If we're super stressed out, we're going to eat distracted. We're going to probably not be in charge of our hunger cues. We are going to probably go for food choices that we normally wouldn't have. We might eat really quickly. There's lots of reasons why our stress affects and impacts not only the way in which we eat, but also our ability to digest food. So to help you be a more mindful eater, I would really encourage you to get into the habit and routine of drinking something on a daily basis that will help to manage your stress. So that is what the Magic Mind beverage can help you do. Now, you do not have to purchase Magic Mind in order to do the free Mindful Eating Challenge. And you actually don't have to be in the free Mindful Eating Challenge to purchase Magic Mind. However, I strongly believe that those who decide to do both will probably get the most out of this challenge. Either one, both of them together, simultaneously, whatever. Point being, you will thrive if you can not only implement the habits and the behaviors to be a more mindful eater, but also on a physical state, have a little help to get there. I'm pretty positive you're going to get the results tenfold. So what does this mean for you? Well, it's free. So all you have to do is go to the link in the show notes to join the free Mindful Eating Challenge. Now, you will be able to participate, like I said, whether you get Magic Mind or not. With that said, by purchasing Magic Mind, and don't worry, I have a discount code for you, you will be able to get more points to potentially win the challenge. Okay, so we're partnering because we care about the environment, we care about your health, and we want you to get the full benefits of this product. And also the full benefits of learning what it means to be a more mindful eater. So if you're interested in doing the challenge, go to the link in my show notes to sign up. What you can expect was literally, it's just going to be an email challenge. So it's really your own commitment. Obviously, we're going to have prompts and encouraging action items and things to really get you engaged and hold you accountable. But at the end of the day, you can also just kind of do this and chill and do it yourself. And hopefully you follow through with, the action items that we say, but we could never know that you are doing it or not doing it. So there's really no pressure in there. Now, with that said, if you want to win the challenge, well, then we are going to ask you to promote it on your social, to take pictures, all of the things to really get the word out there about why being a more mindful eater really affects so much, okay? So that's the first step, is to go to the link in my show notes to join the challenge. Step 2, if you're interested in trying Magic Mind, I have a special link and discount code for you. So go to the link in the show notes for that. You can get any type of Magic Mind you want. You can do the 15-pack, the 30-pack, whatever you choose. And you're going to put in the discount code TIPS14, TIPS14. So that's actually good for 20% off forever, meaning if you love it and you want to keep getting it, you'll continue to get 20% off every time you use discount code TIPS14. However, the first 10 days, it's used as a 40% off discount. And if you apply it to a subscription, then it stacks with the subscription discount from the website for a total of 45%. So basically, you're getting almost 50% off. And the additional bonus is if you win the challenge, you actually get a free month subscription. So you're basically getting it right back. It's an absolute no-brainer. So go to magicmind.com and use TIPS14 at checkout to save 20 or 45%. But anyways, the purpose of this is to help you to feel more control of your food choices. The real purpose of this is to have you start taking care of you a little bit better. And the other purpose of this is just to, have something for you to follow through. Make a commitment to yourself and have a place to follow through. It's just 14 days. But 14 days, believe it or not, can really move the needle, can really shift things. If you commit 100% to fully going all in on making the change and breaking up with the all or nothing mentality, breaking up with dieting. So when I say go all in, it doesn't mean that you're going all in and now mindful eating is a new diet. No, not at all. It's you're going all in on the process and you're letting go of this idea that healthy eating and taking care of yourself is temporary, right? It's learning to be flexible within it. You're going to learn many tips over the series of the 14 days. And one of the tips you're going to learn is that there's actually there's a lot of different ways to be a mindful eater. So even within mindful eating, just like there's no one-size-fits-all approach with dieting, even within mindful eating, there's some foundational things, but at the end of the day, you have to figure out what works best for you. And we're going to help you do that. So go to the link in the show notes to join the challenge, get yourself some matcha, share this with someone. If you're going to do the challenge, let us know and invite people. We officially start, I forgot about to say that. We officially start on Tuesday, October 3rd. So that gives you plenty of time, hopefully, to order your matcha. Like I said, though, you don't necessarily have to get your Magic Mind product in order to join, but you're going to go to the link in the show notes to join, and we're going to start on Monday, October 3rd, and then we end on Monday, October 17th, okay? So very little for you guys to get started. Literally just sign up and expect to get emails. So I'm going to be bombarding your emails for your mailbox for about 14 days, but it's going to be valuable. It's going to be informative. It's going to be helpful. I'm going to be providing video messages. I'm going to be providing just basic text and explanation. You're going to hear from our team. You're going to learn a lot, and it's going to help you a lot if you put your whole self in it. All right. So that's it from me in this part. I'm excited for you to hear this next part of the podcast, where I hope you can find yourself in Erin's story. She talks about her experience in the 6 months of food freedom program, which it's like, think of the 14-day challenge, but on steroids, and like real immersion and real transformation inside and out. It's really where the work really, like, you get the full experience of it all. Okay. So anyways, tell me, before we kind of get into, definitely have a few questions. Obviously I want to congratulate you. You did amazing, but anything like right off the bat, you kind of want to share, that you're really proud of that you've accomplished, or anything that you feel like is important for us to know for feedback?
Well, I mean, the one thing that I know is so important is Christina. Like she was definitely important to like this whole process for me. And just, I said to her in the last meeting, I'm like, she's got to be like mid-20s. And I seriously thought to myself, well, like, you know, I'm sure she has something to share with me, but I already know it. Like, she's so young. I'm not sure like how we're going to be able to like connect. I'm 25 years older than her. And that was definitely not an issue at all. You knew it wouldn't be, of course, or you wouldn't have put us together, but it just like for her to be as non-judgmental as she was, as like informed as she is, for somebody that has lived, you know, double her life, you know, like, so definitely she was a godsend, like to have, you know, weekly with me. So I really appreciated that.
Yeah, no, absolutely my pleasure. And I definitely feel like there's a lot of like bias and judgment, kind of even from what you just described, of thinking that if someone is the same age as you, they're somehow going to just get it, or they're not going to understand because maybe they haven't lived those years. But the reality is that when you're good at keeping the focus on the client and listening to them and being there for them and, you know, supporting them in everything that they need, it doesn't matter how old they are, right? It doesn't matter any of that.
Right. I mean, she's an expert in her field, but I mean, definitely wise beyond her years.
Yeah.
Definitely has that, you know, like has like something like special that is, you know, heartfelt. So it's great.
That's awesome. Well, it always makes my heart happy to hear that. So that's really good. So, okay. So one of the main questions I usually ask on these calls is kind of what were the main obstacles that you were struggling with prior to doing the program? And what were you kind of hoping to get help with? And did we meet your needs?
Yes. So I would say prior to the program, number one, I felt like my life was out of control for more reasons than one. But the diet, my diet or lack of diet or whatever it was definitely failing on a regular basis. And when I say like failing, because everything I kept trying wasn't working. So, and I would try every Monday morning, like just things like that. I had done something over during COVID with like an elimination diet, and I had lost weight very quickly. And I knew as soon as I had lost the weight and I started to put on a couple pounds, I felt completely out of control because I knew I couldn't go back to just doing that again, like to, just not eating anything except for these, like simple things. And so that was number one. Number two was that, and things that I shared with Christina during the entire time, like during the entire 6 months, was I would be embarrassed to tell you what I had on a regular basis back before I started this. Because what I used to nourish myself with was maybe sometimes a nice big salad, but that was mixed in with any treat that was in the house, anything like at Wawa that I could grab on the go. Like it was on the go, and it was like a lifestyle that definitely wasn't working for me, and it wasn't working for my psyche. So those were the things that I would say felt the most out of control, and not anything that I thought that you could really help me with per se, because I knew that you were the, nutritional part of it, that you were going to help me like pick out the foods and that kind of stuff. But really what you helped me do was to like find myself within that change in lifestyle, so just one of the first things that you had said to me when we were on a call, I think, was something about like self-care. And I'll never forget, like the first week after I had finished my night shift job, I was transitioning to a new job. I had time, and I was like, you know what? Now's the time. I'm going to go get a pedicure and a manicure. The kids are in school. I'm not working the night shift. Like I have time to do this now. And I remember coming out of there and feeling so great. And I've done that before, but recognizing the fact that felt so good to take care of myself. And the rest of the day was just such a good day. And I realized I need to start taking care of myself all the time to feel this way in order to continue to take care of myself. So it just like the things that you put in my head that, weren't necessarily of major importance before definitely have become important to me now.
Yeah, it sounds like you had a big mindset shift.
Yes, definitely. That's exactly what it is.
You never, and a lot of people don't connect the dots and think like, they think working with a dietitian, they're just going to tell you what to eat or what not to eat.
Right.
But when you're doing a lifestyle program like what we provide, it's more so, being mindful about your food, being more intentional about your food, but more importantly, like, how are you taking care of you? Because when you're focusing on how you want to feel, well, then you start to do and act and do things that make you feel good. And then you just, it's like it's a positive cycle of things versus the opposite, which is like a negative cycle.
Yeah. It definitely had more of an effect on me than I thought it would, than I ever thought that any of that would. But working with you for 6 months kind of gives you that ability to continue to do that, so It definitely was, the program is just phenomenal. And, somebody like 30 years younger than me that can actually come up with something like this is like impressive.
Appreciate it.
I still couldn't do it,
Yeah, no, but it's really great. And honestly, like, I think it just gets better and better every year because we just keep learning more and more things of how we can help support and provide, value to our clients. So it's really awesome to hear that you had a positive experience with it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I hope for it. That's what I created on purpose.
Yeah, exactly.
So one of the things you had mentioned in your form, we at the end of every program, like the 6-month reassessment form, you wrote how it's almost like second nature now. You feel like very habitual in the way that you eat food. Talk to me about kind of where you mentioned before about kind of just grabbing whatever was around or just, driving through, and rather than, being intentional, like how has that shifted for you?
what I notice, and I still notice these days, I mean, obviously every day is not perfect and every day brings a whole nother challenge. But what I notice is that when I've always done meal planning, it's sporadically though, I don't do it like on a regular basis, but I've always done meal planning for my family to be able to get the groceries for the chicken dinner that night, that kind of thing. But what this whole process has gotten me to realize is that if I plan out my breakfast and have a very whole breakfast instead of just a shake on the go, or instead of just, an omelet, like I'm having like all the food groups in my breakfast most days. Mm-hmm. I'm not hungry. I'm not snacking. And then I have a salad in the lunch hours that is filled with a lot more than just salad. So it has all the food groups again. It has the carbs. I don't crave the carbs like I used to in the afternoon when I'm hungry again. Like, it's kind of like my snacking has almost gone away because I'm filling my plate every time with foods that are so much more nourishing than any of the carbs that I was choosing, Right. So that's definitely, that's part of that mind shift has been, I automatically, if I don't have anything else in the house and I'm making a big salad with chicken in it, I automatically add like rice to it. Like I never would have done that before, but like what I realized is that I was craving carbs that I never had, like that I wasn't doing to myself, like, in the healthy form. So it definitely, that has changed significantly for me. And it's how I serve my family now. I make sure that they have that like on their plates also, or in their lunches. So
yeah, it's so great, right? And it affects the entire family. And you're how many kids do you have? A lot, right?
5.
I thought a lot of kids. So you have a lot of responsibilities, you work full time. So, I like to say if you can do it, anyone can do it, because you really do have a lot of responsibilities.
That is true. Unfortunately, all of my kids had seen me through different phases of my life. So one of the more stressed out phases was like, pulling up to Starbucks every morning and getting my daughter in the back a cookie and a chai tea for myself. And I'd have some of her cookie, and she's more my sweets girl. Like, so different phases of my life, my kids have gotten a part of. My youngest now, who's 5, I just cut up some oranges for her, and she sat there eating oranges while she was watching TV. Like, she's going to get the best part of my phase,
Yeah.
So
yeah. Well, I appreciate you for sharing that. I mean, hopefully you don't carry any like guilt or shame behind.
I do, of course.
But you got to let that go. You didn't know any better. And parenting is so hard. I think you're just doing the best that you can. It is
sometimes just anything you could do to get by, to get through it. So definitely, it's all a journey for me. And I see that, and I know that. And my kids are going through the journey too, so they can learn from my mistakes as well, and
they can learn from your corrections. So the thing that you're doing now, they're going to see it. Kids don't really listen, especially with your teenagers.
Right.
But you just do what you're doing. Just be who you are. Eventually, they'll start to notice it and to see it. So that's really good. I know you also recently just went to Disney, and it sounds like you really navigated. Even being on vacation and feeling like you made, you were on vacation, you had fun, and you had food with flavor, and, maybe things that you normally wouldn't have, but you didn't go in. You, once again, that mindset, that all or nothing mindset, it really does feel like it's completely gone.
Right. It does. And with Disney, I feel like Christina and I talked about it so much and prepared for it so much. There was no preparation for me for Disney. I wanted to make sure I had a salad only because I was craving the salad while I was there. But we had the treats. I shared treats with the kids, but I wasn't overdoing anything. And I didn't feel any guilt, to the point where after Disney had happened, which was in the beginning of the summer, I was going to a baseball game at the end of the summer. And I texted her almost in like a panic, like, what do you suggest? Like, I didn't plan for this. I didn't talk about it. And her advice was something like so simple that I was like, and once I got there, I realized, this is like, I shouldn't have even thought twice about this. This is not a big deal. Like, I don't have the problems I used to have when I would do this. You know what I mean? Like it did become second nature to me once I was there. But, it definitely, like some things still trigger me because I'm like, I haven't been to a baseball game yet. Like, and there's nothing to prepare. Like it's a day out. It's a fun day. I know how I feel now when I overeat. I don't want to overeat, like it's all these little things along the way that have actually really shifted me like into like not filling myself and that kind of thing, only because I don't want to, because now I'm aware of it.
Yeah, I love it. I love it so much. Yeah. Okay, so what would you say is the main outcome or the biggest outcome that you've, like one outcome you've achieved that you're the most proud of?
The outcome, like the actual measurable or not difficult to measure for me, has been my psyche. I feel like my moods are better. I feel like everything has changed. My relationships have changed within my family and outside of my house. I just feel like I'm handling things better than I did. I think I used to internalize things a lot more. So maybe other people wouldn't notice it, but I notice it. I definitely notice how I feel towards other people, towards relationships and interactions and that kind of stuff. So I'd say definitely my mental health is better. And for a while during the program, I wasn't losing any weight and I didn't even care. Like I was weighing myself because it was a goal and I knew I eventually would get there, but I just felt so good that I knew that I was great doing what I was doing because things had changed significantly without any weight loss. So secondary, I would say, is weight loss. Like I still want that. And I'm starting to see the scale go down and it's starting to become easy for it to go down. So, that definitely is a positive outcome. And it is secondary to everything else.
I love it. Yeah. I just get goosebumps because that's like literally what we teach and we preach. And it's just so cool that you're able to really feel it. And then just thank you for trusting the process.
Right.
Because the fact that you trusted that process, it really, really just you felt good. And you almost, it's almost like a trick. You have to, and it's crazy because if you let go of the idea of weight loss, but yet on the back of your mind, you're like, it's
still there. Yeah.
It still might be really hard to feel and to achieve. But when you like fully just decide, you know what, I feel so good. Like if the scale moves around, whatever, don't care. And you genuinely like at the root, like just let go of it. That is actually when the beauty happens.
Start to see it. Yeah.
That's when you start to see it and feel it. Because also too, it's kind of like waiting for the pot to boil.
Right.
It's like if you just staring at it, like, come on, hurry up, like, let's go. Or like, even if you're like, all right, it doesn't matter how long it takes, like, just let's go. It's the second you turn away, it starts to bubble. So that's the same concept that I really hope that from people hearing your story, they can start to adapt and shift and change and just trust that, like, and you know what? I can't lie that not everybody will see weight loss because it depends on so many factors, right? But I think for where you were at, you're starting to now see it go down. And like you said, it's just a byproduct of just finally learning how to put yourself first and being consistent with all the things that we've, implemented over the past 6 months.
Exactly. And I do think that it's the 6 months part that gives you the consistency that you need. 3 months wouldn't be enough. A few weeks obviously isn't enough. Like I needed that consistency throughout in order to like really feel it. In some meetings they would probably seem the exact same to somebody else, but to me, they weren't. They really did like kind of tweak something that I needed to like work on that week. So it was helpful.
Amazing. Awesome. Okay. Well, since I have you here and we're recording this, if for anybody who's listening that's been thinking about applying and maybe is a little bit on the fence, what would you say to them?
I would say, it's worth it. And if you're thinking about it, I think you say this sometimes in some of your posts, if you're thinking about it, you're probably the perfect client to actually, make the to go for it. so I guess I don't think that's the greatest way to put it, but I just think that, I found a way to do it, and I'm so glad that I did. So, it worked out well for me. And I can't imagine that somebody wouldn't have positive results after doing it, like putting their heart into it and actually doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I really appreciate that. And I think that's a really good point. Like, if you're thinking about, is this for me? It probably is. Right. Because, we don't really think about things like if you're thinking about, I think I need to go to therapy. You probably need to go to therapy. There's go to therapy. Like, my arm's been bothering me for 10 weeks. I think I should go to a physical therapist. Right. Yeah, you probably need a physical therapist. Or I have this cold that I just can't shake. And it's been 2 weeks now. I think I need to go to the doctor. You probably need to go to the doctor. Exactly. So if this has been on your heart, or if you've been thinking about it, something you really want to do, heal your relationship with food, find balance in your eating habits. You can have a weight loss goal, you can have aesthetic goals, but knowing that it's more importantly, you just want to feel good and have confidence and be able to have more positive interactions with yourself and your loved ones. Then for those who are listening, I'm going to encourage you to go to tipswithtony.com/coaching to apply. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Tony. Really. I mean, you did a great thing. So it's awesome.
Thank you.